Hi everyone. We can start with the next part of Staphylococcus aureus. Okay.
Next, we are going to discuss about the virulence factors of Staphylococcus aureus. Okay, virulence factor means important factors that confer pathogenicity to the Staphylococcus. This may include cell-associated polymers, cell surface protein, extracellular enzymes, and toxins. These are the four factors that confer or provide pathogenicity to the Staphylococcus aureus. Okay. First of all, cell associated polymers. Cell associated polymers are the polymers that associated with the cell surface like cell wall, plasma membrane, etc. Okay. This cell associated polymers include polysaccharide peptidoglycan, teichoic acid, then capsular polysaccharide. These are the three type of cell associated polymers present in Staphylococcus aureus. Okay. Now we can see how the polysaccharide peptidoglycan, teichoic acid as well as capsular polysaccharide provide pathogenicity to the Staphylococcus aureus. Okay. This polysaccharide peptidoglycan present in the cell wall which confers rigidity as well as structural integrity to the bacterial cell wall. Okay, and this polysaccharide peptidoglycan activates complement system and induces the release of inflammatory cytokines. That is a pathogenic effect of peptidoglycan present in the Staphylococcus aureus. That is, they can activate complement system and induce the production of inflammatory cytokines. This inflammatory cytokines causes inflammation in the infections. Okay. We already told that Staphylococcus aureus causes suppurative or inflammatory infections, right? So this peptidoglycan confers inflammation ability to the Staphylococcus aureus. Okay. Next one is teichoic acid. That is another cell associated polymer that is present in the cell wall, which is the antigenic component present in the cell wall which facilitate adhesion of cocci to the host cell surface. That is, they provide pathogenicity by facilitating adhesion or attachment of the Staphylococcus aureus to the host cell surface. Okay, and they also have another property that they can protect the organism from opsonization. Opsonization means is a neutralization or destruction of pathogen by host immune system. But this process is prevented by this teichoic acid present in the Staphylococcus aureus and facilitate their adhesion as well as infection caused by this organism. Okay. Another one is capsular polysaccharide. Capsule is a gelatinous material that present in the outer surface of the bacteria. Okay. This capsular polysaccharide inhibit opsonization or phagocytosis process and facilitate infection by the organism. Okay, these are the three cell associated polymers that confer or provide pathogenicity to the Staphylococcus aureus. Next one is cell surface protein as another factor that confer pathogenicity or virulence to the Staphylococcus aureus. The cell surface protein may include protein A and clumping factor. Protein A is present in most staphylococcal strains, has many biological properties like chemotatic, antiphagocytic as well as anti-complementary effect. Chemotaxis means movement of organism towards the chemicals or based on chemical stimuli, right? This property help the organism to move towards the cell the organism can infect. Okay, and another property of protein A is antiphagocytic, that is they can prevent phagocytosis. Phagocytosis is another method of destruction of pathogen. Okay, so this protein A again prevent this phagocytic process and also have anti-complementary effect. This protein A again induces platelet damage and hypersensitivity. They can destroy the platelet and decreases their number. And protein A also causes hypersensitivity, that is allergic reactions in the host body. These are the some factors provided by protein A and thereby facilitate the infection by Staphylococcus aureus. Okay. Another cell surface protein is clumping factor, is also known as bound coagulase, which provide pathogenicity by converting fibrinogen to fibrin, thereby facilitating the spread of infection. Okay. And this bound coagulase is responsible for slide coagulase test. We can discuss this slide coagulase test later in the laboratory diagnosis. Okay. So, protein A and clumping factor facilitate the infection by Staphylococcus aureus. Okay. Next one is extracellular enzyme, which is another factor that provide pathogenicity to the Staphylococcus aureus. Okay. Here Staphylococcus aureus produces number of extracellular enzymes like coagulase, lipid hydrolases or lipases, hyaluronidases, then staphylokinase, nucleases, etc. These are the some enzymes or extracellular enzyme that produced by Staphylococcus aureus, and this enzyme act as virulence factors, provide pathogenicity to the Staphylococcus aureus. Okay. Here coagulase is an enzyme which brings about clotting of human or rabbit plasma. That is, coagulase enzyme is responsible for the plasma clotting. Okay, here this coagulase enzyme react with the coagulase reacting factor present in plasma and converting fibrinogen to fibrin, thereby facilitate the spread of infection. Okay. This coagulase is also known as free coagulase. We already discussed about bound coagulase. That bound coagulase means which is bound to the surface of the bacterial species. But here this coagulase enzyme is produced by the organism or released into the surrounding media. That is free coagulase. But function is same, that is about bound coagulase as well as free coagulase. They can convert fibrinogen to fibrin and thereby facilitate the spread of infection, but their nature is different. That is, one is bound coagulase, another one is free coagulase. Okay. And this free coagulase require a reacting factor for converting fibrinogen to fibrin. That is, coagulase reacting factor should be needed for converting fibrinogen to fibrin. Okay. Then another enzyme produced by Staphylococcus aureus is lipid hydrolases or lipases, which help them to infect the skin and subcutaneous tissue. That is, lipid containing skin cells as well as subcutaneous tissue readily infected with the Staphylococcus aureus by the help of such enzyme, that is lipid hydrolases or lipases. Okay. Another one is hyaluronidases, which already discussed about that. Hyaluronidase is an enzyme that can spread the infection by degrading the connective tissue. Okay. Then another one is staphylokinase, is also known as fibrinolysin. That is, the fibrinolysin produced by the Staphylococcus aureus known as staphylokinase, which break down the fibrin barrier in the tissue or cells, thereby facilitate or spread the infection. Okay. Then Staphylococcus aureus also produces protease enzymes that help in the initiation and spread of infection. Then another one is nucleases, which is also an extracellular enzyme produced by Staphylococcus aureus, which damage the host tissue by degrading the DNA matrix. That is, nuclease have ability to degrade phosphodiester bond present in the DNA, thereby damage the tissue. Okay. Then the staphylococci possess protein receptors. This can bind with the mammalian proteins like fibronectin, fibrinogen, etc., and thereby facilitate staphylococcal adhesion to the host cells and tissues. That is, this protein surfaces can bind with the mammalian proteins like fibronectin, then fibrinogen, etc., and facilitate their adhesion to the host body. Okay. So these are the some extracellular enzyme as well as proteins present in the Staphylococcus aureus that provide pathogenicity to the organism. Then toxins, which is another factor providing pathogenicity to the Staphylococcus aureus. Okay, here Staphylococcus aureus produces 4 types of toxins, which may include cytolytic toxin, enterotoxin, toxic shock syndrome toxin, exfoliative toxin. These are the 4 types of toxin produced by Staphylococcus aureus, which provide pathogenicity to the organism. Okay. First of all, cytolytic toxin. The cytolytic toxins are membrane active substances which are of 2 types, that is hemolysin and a leukocidin. This hemolysin again classified into 4 types, that is alpha hemolysin, beta hemolysin, gamma hemolysin as well as delta hemolysin. Okay, and this alpha hemolysin is the most important among the 4 hemolysins. It is protein in nature and can be inactivated at 70 degrees Celsius but can reactivated at 100 degrees Celsius. This is because at a 60 to 70 degrees Celsius, this toxin, that is alpha hemolysin, combine with a heat labile inhibitor. But this heat labile inhibitor denatured at 100 degrees Celsius. Hence, they are activated or reactivated at 100 degrees Celsius and inactivated at 70 degrees Celsius. Okay. Then this alpha hemolysin have ability to lyse the rabbit erythrocytes, but less active against sheep and human erythrocytes. And it is also have leucocidal, cytotoxic, dermonecrotic, neurotoxic as well as lethal effect. That is, this hemolysin, alpha hemolysin destroy leukocytes, that is leucocidal action. Then cytotoxic, they can lyse the cells or destroy the cells, hence they are cytotoxic in nature. Then they can lyse the or destroy the skin cells, hence they are dermonecrotic. Then neurotoxic means they have adverse effect on neurons. Then lethal effect, that is this alpha hemolysin are lethal to the host body. Okay, hence these are the some properties that provide or confer pathogenicity to the Staphylococcus aureus. Okay, and this alpha hemolysin can also destroy macrophages, lysosomes, muscle tissues, renal cortex, circulatory system, etc. These are the another properties that confer pathogenicity to the Staphylococcus aureus by alpha hemolysin. Then another one is beta hemolysin. Beta hemolysin is a sphingomyelinase, which is hemolytic for sheep erythrocytes but not for human or rabbit cells. This hemolysin, that is beta hemolysin, exhibit hot cold phenomenon. That means hemolysis being initiated at 37 degrees Celsius but becoming evident only after chilling. That is, hemolysis occur at 37 degrees Celsius but we can see only after chilling. Okay. Another one is gamma hemolysin, which is also destroy erythrocytes and is composed of 2 separate proteins. This gamma hemolysin composed of 2 separate protein and provide pathogenicity by lysis of erythrocytes. Okay. Then another one is delta hemolysin. It has detergent-like effect on the cell membranes of erythrocytes, leukocytes, macrophages as well as platelets. That is, this delta hemolysin can damage erythrocytes as well as leukocytes, macrophages and platelets. So these are the 4 types of hemolysins produced by Staphylococcus aureus. Then another one is leucocidin. Leucocidin also a type of cytolytic toxin, which is a pore forming toxin. That means they can form pores in the cells and destroy the cells. This leucocidin mainly destroy the leukocytes, that is immune cells, leukocytes. And this also composed of 2 protein component, that is S and F, which is this 2 factors or 2 components is necessary for the activity of leucocidin. It is also known as pendant valentine toxin or PVL. So this is all about cytolytic toxin. Okay. Another one is enterotoxin. This enterotoxin is responsible for the manifestations of staphylococcal food poisoning. That is, Staphylococcus aureus causes food poisoning by secreting this enterotoxin. Okay. This toxin is relatively heat stable. That is, they can resist 100 degrees Celsius for 10 to 40 minutes depending upon the concentration of such toxin as well as the nature of the medium. And most of the Staphylococcus aureus can grow in carbohydrate and protein rich food and secreted this enterotoxin. And when we eat or consume this toxin contaminated food, which causes food poisoning and produces symptoms like nausea, vomiting, diarrhea within 2 to 6 hours after consuming the food contaminated by this preformed toxin. Okay. And this illness or food poisoning is usually self limiting with recovery in a day or so. That is, this illness is mild infection, so we can recover within a day. Okay. Then there are 8 types of enterotoxins are produced by different strains of Staphylococcus aureus, which is named as A, B, C, C1, C2, C3, then D, E, and H. These are the 8 types of enterotoxin produced by Staphylococcal species. Okay. And this toxin have more effect on nervous system rather than gastrointestinal mucosa. That is, they directly act on nervous system and cause illness rather than gastrointestinal system. Okay. Then this toxin is antigenic and can be neutralized by specific antitoxin. And also this toxin is highly potent, that is micrograms can cause the illness. That is, minute concentration can cause the food poisoning. Then lactose agglutination as well as ELISA tests are available for the detection of such type of toxins. Okay, that's about enterotoxin produced by Staphylococcus aureus. Then toxic shock syndrome toxin, another toxin produced by Staphylococcus aureus, which is responsible for a disease or syndrome known as toxic shock syndrome. This toxic shock syndrome is a potentially fatal multi-system disease presenting with fever, hypotension, myalgia, vomiting, diarrhea, mucosal hyperemia, and an erythematous rashes. These are the symptoms of this multi-system disease caused by toxic shock syndrome toxin. Okay. And this hypotension means low blood pressure, myalgia means the muscle pain. Then mucosal hyperemia means excess of blood in the blood vessels of mucosal region that make reddish color in that region. Okay, that is known as mucosal hyperemia. And some skin rashes also formed in case of this syndrome, that is known as erythematous rashes. Okay. Then there are number of or different types of toxic shock syndrome toxin, and here Staphylococcus aureus strains produces type 1 toxic shock syndrome toxin. Okay, and formerly it is known as enterotoxin type F or pyrogenic exotoxin C, which is responsible for this syndrome known as toxic shock syndrome. Okay, then enterotoxin B or C may also cause such type of disease. And here toxic shock syndrome toxin 1 antibody is produced during the infection in convalescence, and this is protective, and its absence is become a factor for or influencing the pathogenicity of Staphylococcus aureus. Okay, that is, this antibody can protect the host by neutralizing this toxin, but absence of this antibody influence or worsen the infectious condition. Okay, then another one is exfoliative toxin, which is produced by Staphylococcus aureus. It is also known as epidermolytic toxin or ET or exfoliating. Okay, and this toxin is responsible for a disease known as staphylococcal scalded skin syndrome. This disease is an exfoliative skin disease in which the outer layer of the epidermis gets separated from the underlying tissue of the skin. That is, exfoliation means separation of skin layers, in which outer layer of the epidermis gets separated from the underlying tissue of skin. Okay, and the severe form of staphylococcal scalded skin syndrome is known as Ritter's disease in newborn and toxic epidermal necrolysis in older patients. And milder form is known as pemphigus neonatorum in newborns and bullous impetigo in adult form. Okay.